7.5 this season. They are plus 158 to make the playoffs. They missed the playoffs last season for the first time since 2020. Mike McCarthy gone, Brian Schottenheimer in, but this is a team that it has a long drought. I mean, this is getting ridiculous now. Every NFC team has made the NFC Championship game in the last 15 years. Other than the Cowboys,
crazy.
It's been doing the same thing over and over, which is not making the NFC Championship game. It's been 30 years now since they've done it. And they've got a tough schedule this year. They're in that division where the Eagles and Commanders played for the NFC Championship last year. Look at this stretch from week 12 to week 17. Late in the year, Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, back-to-back-to-back. Throw the Vikings in there, Chargers, and then Commanders. So let's get into it with Lige Douzable and Mike Renner. We had Kyle Long sit up here last week, and you might have been with him.
It was us, yeah.
You remember what he had the Cowboys win total at?
Very different ends.
5 and 12.
5 and 12.
Right? Yeah.
He had him winning 5 games. Are we underestimating the Cowboys?
I do believe so. Let's not forget, 2 years ago, Dak Prescott was #2 in MVP voting. He's coming off an injury, and I actually was just talking to our resident Cowboys fan, not Amanda, because she doesn't claim the Cowboys, but Haley Sutton. I said, has Dak ever had back-to-back losing seasons? And I don't believe he has. So last year, even though he didn't complete the whole season, it was a losing record before he got hurt. I don't see him having another losing season. I have them going 9-8 this year. But when you look at it, I love what they did in the draft and how they've kind of fortified that offensive line. That's when the Cowboys were good. They really built it up front. The 3 Tylers, right? Tyler Booker, who they took in the draft, Tyler Smith, who's an all-world guard, and Tyler Guyton, who you hope takes a sophomore leap this year. So things are built in the trenches for them as well. I think the Cowboys are going to be a team that's going to be underrated and may surprise a lot of teams. I have them going 9-8. Would not be surprised if they go 10-7.
Yeah, I think the range of outcomes for the Cowboys is all over the map. Yeah. One, because you added the biggest wild card in George Pickens. Like if he shows up and wants to play in a contract year, you have 2 #1 wide receivers. If he shows up and does a lot of the same things he did in Pittsburgh, he's going to ruin that locker room. Like there's going to be infighting in that locker room. But there are holes. There are unique holes on this team that I'm worried about. The tackle position, one, what I saw from Tyler Guyton as a rookie does not make me excited about what a year 2 leap could be from him. And then I also think defensively, they're real small up the middle. This team could get ran on once again, and you're not in a good division to try to stop the run against the Commanders, against the Philadelphia Eagles as well.
Is there enough for them, though, to make it, or would they have to change something in the middle of the season to the postseason? This is a team that has not made it past the divisional round since they won the Super Bowl.
Well, their young players have to step up. You talked about a guy like Tyler Guyton, who was.
And I know it's hard. I know it's hard to analyze this, like in the beginning of the season. But I mean, this is what they want. It's not a 10-win season. It's not a 9-win season.
They want to get to the NFC.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I think first and foremost they got to be competitive again, because last year they were. Now again, it hurts you when your starting franchise quarterback gets hurt with a hamstring injury. He misses the majority of the season, but he has to stay healthy. And also, you talked about it, Mike, getting a guy like George Pickens, that has been the thing that's ailed them on offense the last couple of years. CeeDee Lamb has not had a #2 receiver, so he's gotten so much attention. Now, with the way George Pickens can go up and catch 50-50 jump balls, that midfield safety is going to be leery of trying to come down and maybe double-team CeeDee Lamb, which could open things up for George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. So I just think that Dak Prescott is motivated. I've seen videos of him, and that doesn't mean anything, but he looks a lot leaner. Maybe he's a little bit more mobile this year, and I think he has a lot to prove, because people forget, going back to that 23 season, you see it right there, 36 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions, was #2 in the MVP race. A lot of people actually thought he should have won it over Lamar Jackson that year.
Yeah, I do think that I'm worried about the injury that he had last year. It came during a throw, right? It was a right hamstring injury. It came from that plant leg. There's no telling. You know, we've seen quarterbacks when they have major injuries and fluke scenarios like that the next season. I mean, look at like Kirk Cousins and how he fared after the Achilles, Derek Carr after how he fared after the broken ankle. I do just worry about
this is on
mentally.
Top of the horrific injury that he occurred.
That he's had a bunch now over the past few years. What that can do to you mentally, you can't really put a price on.
That was the only season, the horrific injury you referenced back in 2020. That was his only losing season. And Lige, to your point earlier, bounced back from that with an 11-5 year in 2021.
There it is.
What do you guys think, though, this offense and this team is going to look like now that they have a new staff in place?
Well, the interesting thing, right, Brian Schottenheimer, I assume, is going to take over the play calling duties. And let's not forget that one year when Russell Wilson was in the MVP race, it was let rest cook. So I could see Schottenheimer opening this up now that he has a #2 receiver and throwing the ball down the field. People have wondered, what is the backfield going to look like for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Javonte Williams signs there. You take Jayden Blue in the draft. Miles Sanders is trying to resurrect his career, so there'll be some nice competition in the backfield. But I can see this team really opening it up, and you see it under Brian Schottenheimer the last 2 years. Even though Mike McCarthy called the plays, they were one of the most explosive offenses in football. So look for this team to really push the ball down the field.
Yeah, well, the secret sauce 2 years ago to Dak's almost MVP campaign was the drop-back passing game. But the also secret sauce to a drop-back passing game is protection up front.
Yeah.
He was the highest graded by PFF quarterback in the NFL on standard drop-back passes. Not play action, your run-of-the-mill drop-back passes, but he also had Tyron Smith in his last year playing at a high level. Tyler Guyton ain't that. Terrence Steele ain't that. I do worry about this tackle position if that's going to be what they go for offensively.
Chris mentioned the difficulty of the Cowboys' schedule. Really, all of the NFC East has some of the most difficult schedules when it comes to the league. Taking a look at theirs, I got a couple questions about it. We're going to kind of go game by game, but I also want to know, when you look at the Cowboys' schedule, can we pop it up? Do we have it? Do we have it? Do we have it? Because I got to look at it. When are we going to know, kind of like by what week, this is who the Cowboys are? Do you want me to give it to you?
Well, no, I have
it right here?
So
okay.
The interesting thing has started this segment talking about weeks 12 through 17. And old ball coach used to always tell me, you want to be playing your best football in late November and then December heading into the playoffs. Well, from weeks 12 to 17, they have the Eagles, who are the champions, the Chiefs at the Lions, play the Vikings at home, Chargers at home, at Commanders. Those are all playoff teams from last year. So that's when we'll know what this Cowboys team is truly about. Week 12 through 17. Now, the thing is, the season opens up kind of light for them. Like, they could go on a potential run, right? But we'll truly know who the Cowboys are week 12 through 17.
I think it's earlier than that. I think it's like week 3, week 4. By the time you get, if you don't beat the Giants and Bears, weeks 2, week 3, if you're 0-3 to start off, which could very possible with how
you got them 0-5, Mike.
It could be that. I am sorry, 0-5, because the thing that scares me about this Cowboys team, the layups on their schedule, the easiest teams, the Jets, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Giants, they're all on a massive upswing. They all were big players this offseason and adding talent to their respective rosters. So from that perspective, there's no game where it's like, okay, we can circle these wins. There's just not a lot of those on the schedule. When that's the case, and you're going to have to dogfight every single week, I just think it's going to be difficult, so I'm going 6-11.
Well, they just made a trade that some of us were surprised by. Is there anything else they can do, they should do, before the season starts, Lee?
I think they've handled it. I think they had a home run draft. I don't think people talk about their draft enough. Tyler Booker, he's going to be a road grader in the run game. Donovan Azaraku will help Michael Parsons on the edge, get after the quarterback. And Suvon Revel in the 3rd round, if he's healthy, because let's not forget, Trayvon Diggs is coming off a major knee injury. If Suvon Revel is healthy, this could be one of the best corner tandems in all of football, with Bland going back into his natural slot position. So I think they've addressed a lot of the holes on their team. Now it's all about